Hey, what's up guys, my name is Pavan from PNPtutorials and you're watching the PNPtutorials channel, and in this video we are going to talk about the 6 things you need to do after buying the Raspberry Pi 4. This video is sponsored by LCSC.com. LCSC.com is the largest manufacturer of the electronic components like resistors, capacitors, power management ICs and much more. Don't forget to check them out, link is given in the description below. So whatever things that we are going to do in this video is super required to be able to work on the Raspberry Pi 4. Let's first start by installing the Raspbian operating system onto our new Raspberry Pi 4. So for installing the operating system, first you will have to download it, and you can download the Raspbian operating system from raspberrypi.org. Here we have the Raspberry Pi website. Now what we have to do is to just head over to the download section. Now here it comes in the 3 flavors. One is the Raspbian Buster with desktop and recommended software. Second one is Raspbian Buster with desktop, and third one is Raspbian Buster Lite. So if you want to make the use of all the softwares that are included in the Raspbian image, then you will have to download this file. Or if you only want to use the UI of the operating system, then you can download this version. Or if you only want to make the use of shell version, then you can download the Raspbian Buster Lite. Of course, Raspbian Buster Lite will not have any tools installed in it, so you will have to manually install them. So what I am going to do right now is I'm gonna download the Raspbian Buster with desktop and recommended software. So let's just click on download zip. Click on start download. The size of this package is 1.81 GB. Here you can see guys, Raspbian image has been downloaded completely. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on open folder, and from here we need to actually extract this image. So right click on it and click on extract file. Here I'm using WinRAR to extract this. Meanwhile it is extracting, let me download a software package that will be required to flash this file on an SD card. So let me head over to the browser and type in here Balena Etcher. Just click on the very first link. Now here you can see guys, here we have the Balena Etcher software for all the distributions. You can download it for Windows, Mac and Linux as well. Since my system is Windows system, so I'm gonna download the Windows version. For your information guys, I have already downloaded the Etcher software for Windows, and I have also installed it into my PC, and installation is super easy. You just need to double click on the setup and it will install easily. After installation, you will get something like this. As you can see here, now here we have the Etcher software. From here we can select the image, and from here we will get to know what SD card we have plugged in into our CPU. So let me quickly insert the 16 GB SD card into my card reader, and then I will plug in that card reader into my CPU. Now here you will be able to see the generic USB device, and that is basically my SD card. Now if I will click on change, then you will definitely be able to see G drive. Let me quickly head over to the file explorer and show you the SD card. Here we have this SD card, and the size of this SD card has been shrinked to 252 MB. So what we will have to do is to format this SD card, and for formatting this SD card we will make the use of a software called Bootize. So Bootize is another nice software. I will put the link of this software in the description below so that you can download it easily. Let me just double click on it, click on yes, and it is not an installable software. It will simply run when you will double click on it. Now here you can see guys, we have got our SD card. It automatically detects that, and just click on parts manage. Now click on repartitioning. Now right after that you need to click on USB HDD mode single partition. Click on OK. Now again click on OK. Now our SD card has been formatted. Now let me quickly show you the size of my SD card. Now the size of the SD card has been increased up to 14.8 GB. Now we are ready to do the installation. Now I need to disconnect my USB card reader and connect back into my Windows PC. Now I'm gonna click on select image. Just click on very first image that we have just extracted, that is Raspbian Buster Full. Click on open. Now here we have the micro SD card and the size of this micro SD card is 16 GB. If you want to buy one for you, then the Amazon link is given in the description below. Now let's just click on flash. Click on yes. Now the flashing process has been started. It will take some time to actually flash the operating system onto that 16 GB SD card. And now here you can see guys, Raspbian operating system has been completely flashed on that 16 GB SD card. Now before I take out that SD card, what I will do is I will also enable the SSH connection into my Raspberry Pi. So let me just head over to my Windows Explorer. And here you can see guys, after installation I'm not able to see the drives, so I will have to replug that SD card into my CPU. And once you will replug, then you will definitely be able to see the boot partition. Now just click on it. Now here what you need to do is you need to right click and then click on text document. And now we are going to create a normal file named as SSH, which will not have any sort of extension. So simply hit enter, click on yes. So now here you can see guys, we have a file called SSH and its file type is none. So what it will do is it will actually tell our Raspberry Pi 4 that you need to enable the SSH connection while boot up. So now let me take out my SD card and plug in into my Raspberry Pi. I have plugged in the 16 GB SD card on which we have actually installed the Raspbian operating system, and I've also plugged in a LAN cable that is coming out from my router so that I can get the internet connectivity, as well as I will also be able to get an IP address, and then I will actually perform the SSH into my Raspberry Pi. And for your information, my Raspberry Pi and my Windows PC are connected into the same network. So now let me quickly give the power to my Raspberry Pi, and I'm basically making the use of Type-C adapter. If you don't have the Type-C adapter, then what I will do is I will definitely leave the Amazon link in the description below so that you can buy it for your Raspberry Pi 4. Now it's been a while, I think my Raspberry Pi must have boot up. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all I will search the IP address of my router. So for that I will simply type in your cmd and then I will type in your ipconfig, and here you can see guys, I'm actually connected to the Ethernet, and the default gateway of this Ethernet is 192.168.1.1. You might be connected to the WLAN and you might have some other different gateways, say for example 192.168.0.1. So what you will have to do is to head over to the router settings page, and I'm gonna head over to my router settings page by entering this IP address into my browser window. Open the 192.168.1.1, and here we have the Tenda router login page. You might have the default password if you haven't set the custom password already. So I've logged in here. Now here you can see guys, this router is an advanced router and it does have so many features like parental control, and you will also be able to give the limited amount of internet connectivity to a particular client. So if you want to watch the video about Tenda router, then it is given in the description below. Now I'm gonna click on 3 online devices, and out of these 3 we have this Raspberry Pi device, and this is basically our Raspberry Pi. So now a Raspberry Pi is set up into our network and it is also able to get that IP address. So I'm gonna copy this IP address, and now you need to download one software, and the name of that software is Putty. I will give the link of that software in the description below, and you will only have to just double click on it and it will automatically run. So now let me quickly open up the Putty software. Here we have it. Now just enter the IP address of your Raspberry Pi and click on open. Now here you can see guys, we have actually got the Putty session alert, and that is basically for Raspberry Pi 4. Now you need to log in into Putty. The default credentials for the Raspberry Pi is username will be Pi and password will be Raspberry, RASPBERRY. Hit enter. Once you will do that, then you will be able to log in into your Raspberry Pi SSH console. So now that we have got the SSH console of our Raspberry Pi, now our next step is to enable the VNC connection from our Windows PC to the Raspberry Pi. So we will have to tell our Raspberry Pi that you need to enable the VNC server into Raspberry Pi 4. So for that, what I will do is I will simply type in here sudo raspi-config. All the commands are given in the description below. Right now I'm making the use of upper and the down arrow key. So just head over to advanced option and hit enter. Now first thing is we will expand the file system, which means whatever size the SD card have, we will definitely make it usable. So hit enter on that. And root partition has been resized. The file system will be enlarged upon the next reboot. Again head over to the advanced option. Go to the resolution. Now here we will actually open up our Raspberry Pi into 1920 1080p resolution. So hit enter on that. Again hit enter. Now you are on the Raspi config home page. Now let's go back to the interfacing options and just head over to the P3, that is VNC. Just hit enter on it. And now it is asking, would you like to enable the VNC server? So make the use of left arrow key and hit enter on yes. So now the VNC server has been enabled. So hit enter on OK. Now our next step is to change the default password. So hit enter on change your password. Now you will be asked to enter the new password for the Pi user. Hit enter. So now just enter the new password for your Raspberry Pi. You need to repeat the same password. And the password has been changed successfully. Now hit enter. Now make the tab keys to navigate to finish. And now we have done multiple things. So what we will do is we will actually reboot our Raspberry Pi. So hit enter on yes. The connection has been closed because our Raspberry Pi is rebooting. Now it has been a minute and our Raspberry Pi must have boot up again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click on the header and I will restart the session. Now I will log in with the new credentials. The username will be Pi as before, but now we will make the use of the new password that we have just set up. And for your information guys, the VNC server must have automatically enabled. So what I am going to do right now is I'm gonna install the VNC viewer onto my Windows PC. So let's head over to the browser and download the VNC viewer for your Windows PC. Click on download VNC viewer. The size of this file is 10 megabyte. Just click on it to install. Click on next. I accept the terms and conditions. Click on next. Now I will head over to the app section and here we have the VNC viewer. Click on pin to start for the future and just click on VNC viewer to open it. First of all, I will click on send anonymous usage data to help improve the VNC viewer. So I'm not gonna do it. Click on got it. Now I am going to enter the IP address of my Raspberry Pi and that was 192.168.1.11 and it will try to make the connection on this IP address. So let's hit enter. Click on continue. Again, you need to enter the username of our Raspberry Pi 4 and the Raspbian operating system is Pi and the password is the new one. Now we can click on remember password for future reference. And it is actually trying to make the connection on 192.168.1.5900 TCP port. Click on OK. Now here you can see guys, here we have the Raspberry Pi 4 and the Raspbian operating system right in front of you. Let me make it full screen. Now if you guys remember what we have done in the Raspi config was, we have actually set the resolution of our Raspbian operating system to be at 1920 and 1080p. So now here you can see guys, we do not have the complete resolution. So what we will have to do is to head over to the settings. And now I'm gonna click on picture quality to be at high. And I'm gonna scale it to 100%. So now let's just click on OK. And now let me try to make it full screen. And again, it is not full screen. Now here you can see guys, we are actually not able to make this Raspberry Pi VNC viewer to be at full screen. We actually set the resolution to be at 1920 1080p, but somehow it is not working. So what I will have to do is to plug in the SD card of Raspbian operating system back into my CPU, and we will have to comment out something, and that I get to know from Google. Let me just shut down my Raspberry Pi for now. Now we need to open this file config.txt. Now let me quickly comment out this line, that is dt overlay pc4 fkms v3d, and let me save this file as well, and the file has been saved. Now let me take out my SD card smoothly. After plugging my SD card, I'm gonna give the power to my Raspberry Pi 4. Now it will take some time to boot the Raspbian operating system. I think now my Raspberry Pi might have booted up already. So let me just double click on this IP address that we have set earlier. And here we go guys, we have actually comment out one line in config.txt file, and it has actually give the full screen resolution right in front of you. Now let me quickly make it more full screen. Just hover over here and make it full screen. And there we go guys, here we have the Raspberry Pi 4 running the Raspbian operating system in full screen mode. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on next to get started, and here we can select our country. My country is India, so I'm gonna scroll up and select my country. Language will be English, time zone will be Kolkata, and I will use the US keyboard and click on next. And here it is setting up the location, so please wait. And now it is asking for the new password. By default, the Pi user have that password called Raspberry. So it is thinking that I already have that password, that is Raspberry, but I do not have it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on next to skip it. And it is saying this screen shows a black border around the desktop. And if our screen will have any sort of black border around it, then we will click on next. And now it is searching for all the Wi-Fi networks around us, and my Wi-Fi router is Road Ruler. Since this Raspberry Pi Wi-Fi chipset supports dual band, that means it can operate on 2.4 GHz as well as 5 GHz. So I am able to see my 5 GHz frequency router as well. For now I'm gonna connect using the Road Ruler 2.4 GHz frequency, and I will enter the password here. Click on next. Now it is asking if you want to update the software package. For now I'm gonna click on skip, and here you can see guys, the setup is complete, and it is asking us to restart your Pi for the new settings. So let me just do it later. Now here you can see guys, here we have the Raspberry Pi 4 running the Raspbian operating system, and this is basically the menu. Programming, under the programming we have multiple tools. We have Java IDE, we have Greenfoot Java IDE, then we have Node-RED, Scratch, Senset Emulator, Sonic Pi, and much more for Python development as well. Under the education we have something called SmartSim, a digital logic circuit design and simulation package. We'll get back to this later. And under the office we have a software package called LibreOffice. And under the internet we have Chromium browser and the VNC viewer as well. So if you want to do the VNC into some other application or some other operating system, then you will also be able to do it. Under the sound and video we have VLC media player. Under the graphics we have image viewer, and under the games we have Python games and the Minecraft Pi. And for your information guys, right now I'm running Raspberry Pi 4 in the VNC mode, and it is actually very smooth. And that is because of the Raspberry Pi Ethernet. Now the last thing that I want to show you is the UI customization. So you can head over to the Raspberry Pi, and then you can go into the preferences and appearance settings. Now here we have the desktop, and you can change the wallpaper from here, like Cliff. We have some other wallpapers in HD quality, so all these wallpaper are super awesome. Canyon is there. So all these wallpaper are looking super awesome. If you want to change them, then you can change them. Here we have the menu bar. You can change the size of the menu bar. So for example, I'm changing right now. So what it has done is it has actually made this taskbar or the menu bar little wider, and now it is looking little big as well, which is much better than the previous one. So I'm gonna go back to the appearance settings again, and I'll show you some of other things as well. You can change the system font. So these are the few customizations that you can also do into your Raspberry Pi. So that was the video to basically give you the introduction, like how you can install the operating system into your Raspberry Pi, how you can enable the SSH into your Raspberry Pi, and not only that, I've also told you that how you can enable the VNC server into your Raspberry Pi and how you can do the VNC into your Raspberry Pi 4. Followed by that, I have also told you how you can enable the 1920 and 1080p pixels resolution onto your VNC viewer, how you can connect to the Wi-Fi and things like that. So these were the 6 things that you can do after buying the Raspberry Pi. I hope you guys like this video. So if you guys like this video, then give it a big thumbs up. If you are new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe for more upcoming videos on Raspberry Pi 4. All the commands, software links and the purchase links are given in the description below. If you want to check them out, then please head over to the description section. So thanks for watching this video guys. I will see you in the next one.